want to stand here? First and foremost, Connor, congratulations on the cover of EA Sports. And I'll turn this press conference over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming here. I'd like to thank, on behalf of myself and the promotion, thank all the media members for all the work that they put in. We are extremely grateful. Tonight was a phenomenal night. $10.1 million gate, the highest pay-per-view of the year. We done it again. It's been a great year for myself, my team, my family, the promotion. I'd like to congratulate the UFC, everyone at the UFC that puts in all the hard work behind the scenes. Again, extremely grateful. Any questions?
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah.
Over here.
Where?
Right here.
Yeah.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was asking you on Thursday about his right hand.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what you told me?
I said his right hand would get him into trouble. It's the shot I predicted. I said he'd overload on his right hand. I said I'd slip. I said I'd bang the left hook. And that's what happened.
Word for word, you said, I felt when we stared down, I felt his right hand was twitching, which was a subtle tell for me. He is ready to unload that right hand, and I feel that could be a downfall for him. If he lets that right hand go, I will not be there. I simply enter the way I enter, and that is enough. They either overextend or they shrink away, but either way, it is not good for them. I will create traps and dead space inside that octagon, and I will walk him into that dead space, but all of a sudden, he will be in danger. How do you do that? How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality. I knew he would overextend, and I knew I'd catch him. So Mystic Mac strikes again.
The other thing we talked about was innovation, and about the idea that something will go as far as it can go, and it will sort of get to an end, and everything will be the same, and then somebody will have to innovate and change that. Was he the best taxi in the world, and are you Uber?
Now, you know, Jose has been a phenomenal champion. It would have been nice if the contest had stretched out a little bit longer, just for all it's been through. But I still feel the same process would have happened. Timing beats speed, precision beats power, and that's it. So I respect Jose. I wish him well. But now we are on to the next chapter.
And last question, Connor. Is the new thing that you're innovating just some kind of...
How do I look up here, first
Yeah,
of
you
all?
look good, sir.
I think it suits me, right?
Yeah.
I think I look good up here.
And are you innovating a weird combination of confidence and movement?
I've always been fascinated by movement, and you know, I always look at people that can move in unusual ways and have complete control of their frame. I don't see them as people that just have control of their body and control of their frame, but they have control of their mind to be able to go into certain positions and balance on one hand, or in unusual positions. To be able to do that, you don't just have control over your body, you have control over your mind. So it's always been something that's fascinated me. And I've always been learning and trying to implement different forms of movement and variety into my game. We brought in Mr. Ito Portal this week, fight week. He came maybe a month ago. We trained for a couple of days, but then fight week was perfect because the hard training is done. It's about entering the contest fresh, your body supple and free. Fight week is not about... It's already a stressful week. It's already a lot of struggle in fight week, but you must make it as least amount of that as possible. So bringing Ito in this week was phenomenal. It recentered the mind. It changed training. It was movement based. There was no contact. When I woke up today, I didn't wake up and say, I didn't wake up and my brain wasn't telling me that my foot is sore or something. You know, that's what a lot of times happens to these fighters. They come in and say, when they wake up on the day of the fight and their brain is instantly telling them about their elbow or about their knee or about their ankle or something's wrong with them. This time I woke up and there was absolutely nothing wrong. I was like, I felt free, in control and free.
Question over here, Connor, to your right. There you go.
How are you?
Very good. Congratulations, of course, on a phenomenal victory. You predicted a first-round knockout, and obviously that happened. But in your wildest imagination, did you imagine it would be one punch, that quickly? Did you have any scenario in your head where it would play out like that?
Yeah, many times. It's not the first time I've done that. I have a 4-second KO on my resume. Now I have a 13-second. I also have a 16-second. I have many early stoppage wins. I feel I have the shots, and I have the timing, and I have the precision. And again, with these small gloves, and with the correct amount of force and the correct timing, the human chin can't take it. So I said 1 round. He is the pound. He was currently the pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the roster, undefeated in 10 years, the company's only featherweight champion. Who comes in and predicts 1-round KOs? I did, and I did.
Do you think, if this fight had gone the full 1 round, and let's say there were some good exchanges, maybe he got you with a couple shots, even a first-round fight, you could say we could justify an immediate rematch. Do you feel like you will see Jose again, or do you feel like this may be the last time you see him?
That's on him. That's up to him what way he goes about his next step. I feel maybe he could take a step back, recenter himself, take all that. Because you don't understand, like I said before, and I've said many times, it's not the same when you sign to fight me. It's a whole other ball game. It's a completely different pressure bubble you're under. And he felt that. A guy that's been on top so long, 10 years undefeated, the company's only champion, but he felt the pressure like he'd never felt before. That's because he was facing me. But what happens is when they show up and they face me and they man up and do it, they become re-energized. Look at Holloway, look at Poirier, look at all these people. When they show up and they come through it, they become better individuals. So I think Jose should go back, regroup, maybe get back in line for a #1 contender spot, and we'll go from there. I know the option is there for the 155-pound belt. I'll sit and I'll watch this. The options are there now. The options are building. We've got Frankie, who had a good win last night. That could be for the featherweight belt. Maybe Jose rematch or 155-pound strap. So I enjoy options. Options are a good thing in the fight game.
Your coach, John Kavanaugh, that's a perfect segue to my next question, said that, this was the last time you were going to cut to featherweight. It is a big cut for you, and you were interested. And Dana said if you want that lightweight title fight, if you go up, you could have it. Where do you have a preference? How bad is that cut? How bad was the cut this time, and does that?
I giggle all the time because every time I step on that scales and I step off the scales, everyone's like, it's the worst I've ever seen him. He better rehydrate correct or he's in a hell of a lot of trouble. Don't get me wrong. It's a tough weight cut. But tell me one time I've missed it. Tell me one time I've not showed up the next day fresh. You know what I mean? Everyone up there on that stage that makes weight is not in the freshest of states. You know what I mean? This is the business. But this time around, although it was tough, I'd done it professionally. I cut no corners. I had a guy in that was helping me with the structure of it, and I trusted in the structure and in the plan, and the weight came on me. Is it easy? No, but I get it done like a professional. So although I said I would not, I wasn't considering leaving the featherweight division for good because I am the unified world champion. This is my division. I say what I do now. So maybe I feel there's a couple of contenders in the mix. Let them maybe compete against each other while I go up and take the lightweight belt. Allow a contender to emerge and go back down and take out that contender. And then go back up after a lightweight contender has emerged and take out that contender. That was what my career path I felt was taking shape. Now Frankie had a good win yesterday, so he could probably climb up as an early contender already. So, we've some options, we've some decisions to make. But most certainly, I'm looking to replicate what I have achieved in my previous promotion, a two-weight world champion, held consecutively. I said I would do it, and I will do it.
And my last question, you know, Jose Aldo, you said it. Everyone said it. #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. You knocked him out in 13 seconds. In your head right now, Conor, are you the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport now?
I believe so. I believe there are many great fighters. There are many people who do great things. But when you combine it all together, when you combine the whole package, the whole animal that is the fight game, I don't think there's nobody that does it better than me. I think I am the pound-for-pound #1.
Over here, Connor. Do you consider this your first title defense, or do you look at this as now you're the champion, the real champion the whole way?
Yeah. I felt like I was always competing for the belt. Like I said, two-weight world champion I came into this promotion as. So in my mind, I was defending my belt on the debut and every other fight. So it's nice, you know, they called it a fake belt, interim toy belt, clown, joker, all of these things. So I'll go back and I'll sit patiently and wait and hear what they have to say now.
And the last thing I was going to ask you is there any obligation that you feel, I guess? You came in and you sort of galvanized this division and really made it, I think, what it is now. And now that you've beaten Jose and you're the guy and in the crosshairs of anybody coming up, and especially like Frankie, do you feel an obligation at this point on any level to kind of stick around for a little bit, or is it?
I tell you one thing that won't be happening. If I go up to that lightweight division, there's no way in hell that I'm vacating my belt. That's not happening. There'll be a belt on one shoulder and a belt on the other shoulder. I understand why previously they would have fighters do that, because many fighters don't fight as frequently as I do. Tell me how many fights I've had in the past year. You know what I mean? I'm busy. I stay active. I'm fresh. So when I go up to the lightweight for that lightweight belt and take that lightweight belt, I will still be the featherweight champion also. So I will be a dual weight champion. There's no going up and vacating. The belts will still be active because I am active. I am as active as any of them. So there's no problem with that. So there's no vacating. That's not happening.
Conor, you famously proclaimed that you were going to be here. You've seen it happening. You knew what was coming. But, you know, you've been carrying the nation of Ireland on your back, all these things. Now that you're here and you actually got it done, have you had a chance to soak it in a little bit? What is the emotion?
I tell you what, I've been soaking it in all week. On that weigh-in yesterday, I wanted to stay on the stage. I smiled and I just took it all in and just looked. I took an extra second. The same out there, I just looked down and said, this is my home. I feel at home here. And all through the week, I'm watching videos of the Irish going crazy throughout Las Vegas and all these videos that are popping up, the Q&A that they done with Holly and all. I mean, the Irish fans, you can't beat them. We are making this sport what it is today, and to be giving my countrymen and women these occasions that they'll remember forever, and the fact that they're doing us proud out here, and the whole world, the eyes are on the Irish right now. The whole world is looking at our country, so I'm very, very proud of that, and I'm very, very grateful.
This guy's been kind of your bitter rival for the last year. I mean, there's been such a build-up. After it was over, it seemed like you were pretty cordial and you were trying to speak to him. What were you trying to say to him?
You know, there was a lot of stuff said, different, you know. What I said was, I says, look, we can go again. You don't like this. Although it's a nice feeling to get that knockout, it's kind of not nice as well. You know, you can see what's happening around, and you don't want to see the current or the only champion in the company's history going out like that. So I had a little moment where I felt sorry for Jose. It's been a long road, and I appreciate that he showed up here and made the journey out here. Because I've no doubt, I'm sure there were options to pull, and this time there were options to pull like the last time, but this time he stuck around, I'd imagine. So I just said we can do it again, but he was off in his own world, I believe, and they are probably still resentful and bitter towards it. But like I said, winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners, and that's what their whole camp have been doing this whole time. They've been focusing on me and what I've been doing and what I've been saying. But I've also been focusing on me and what I've been doing and what I've been saying. That's what winners do. Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners.
not a lot of the fight to break down, but can you help us understand your emotions, your mindset? I mean, this is a big thing that you've been building towards. That 13 seconds that unfolded. What was going through your head? And I mean, did you see things playing out? Was it just muscle memory, instinct? How did it all play out?
I just felt he'd load up. I'd give him a little shot, give him that pressure, almost like get that recoil. And then he loaded. I pulled, banged the left hand. It was clean, no power, no push, just pop. Precision, timing. That's it. You fall into a shot like that, you go asleep.
And last question for you, Conor. It doesn't sound like the weight cut is going to factor into your decision. So how will you make the decision of what the next move is? Is it about who wins at 155, which matchup sounds more interesting? How will you make that choice?
I'll give it some time. I'm still here, and I'm on, you know, it's Christmas. I'm thinking right now Christmas. In the fight game, when you travel around for so long and you're either making weight or you're doing something, but Christmas is taken from you many times. This time Christmas is not taken from me, so I get to go home. I've put in a hell of a lot of work this year. It's been a crazy, crazy year for me. So I'm looking forward to going home, building a Christmas tree with my girlfriend, spending time with my family, eating some good food, and let the plan form. It will form before me, so I'll keep my ear to the ground and see what people are interested in the most and make a decision then.
Once again, congratulations, Conor. Oh, sorry.
Congratulations, Conor. In the last month, you've had Ronda lost. She was a 20-1 favorite, undefeated champion. Tonight, Chris lost. He was an undefeated champion. Jose hadn't lost in 10 years. What does that say to you about now that you're on the top and everybody's going to be shooting at you? Does that give you any caution or any pause that you have to consider?
Again, winners focus on winning. Winners focus on what they can control. You keep getting asked, did you learn anything from Ronda or did you learn anything from other people? But although I learned from watching the contest and the technical aspect of it, I focus on me and what I'm doing. So I feel at the top. I already felt at the top before tonight. So I'm confident going forward that nobody can take what I bring.
What do you feel from a business standpoint is possible? I mean, you know, there's always been this thing when you talk about MGM, you know, gates are 6-7 million. Those are huge gates. Now tonight you did 10 million.
10.1.
And even Dana said the other day you couldn't get over 9, and you did 10.1. What is possible in terms of where you take this thing from the business standpoint?
What did Floyd Manny do?
Sorry, say it again.
What did Floyd Manny do?
They're at 4.6 million.
No, that was bias. I'm talking about gay.
Oh, 72 million gate.
72 million gay. We done 10.1. I'm catching up. I'm only 27. Them old motherfuckers were 40 before they got that on. I'm only warming up. So I said to Lorenzo and I said to Dana, I'm bringing these big numbers. I'm bringing these $500 million revenue numbers like the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight done. So at 27 years of age, I stand here as the unified world champion, back-to-back gate records in the MGM. This is trending as the highest pay-per-view. Schaller, I believe, said of all time for the UFC. So at 27 years of age, with every record in the book, with weight divisions above ready for me to go at, super fights left and right. Tell me one other champion that's been like that. Every other champion gets a belt and they don't want to go up or they don't want to go down. I'm going straight up. So I'm bringing these big numbers and the sky is the limit.
And I guess just in that vein, you know, when you think of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, it was because it was 6 years. People wanted to see that for such a long time. There was some hook to it. And it would seem to me like the dual championship would be the hook for you to be able to kind of get that type of thing. Do you feel like that is it, or is there a specific opponent that, you know, people may think that will be more than just the hook of, say, another title?
Yeah, well, there's many ingredients to form that what it was. But like I said, 27 years of age, this can happen. Anything can happen. I could go up unified, or I could go up and take that lightweight belt. Maybe Jose make a run back, and maybe people want to see that again, and it just builds and builds. Or, you know, things change and things grow in the fight game. So these hooks appear, and we capitalize, and that's what we do here at the UFC.
All right, Conor, once again, congratulations. This was not only just, you winning the title, but with 13 seconds, this beat Ronda Rousey's 14 seconds for the fastest UFC title fight ever. How do you respond to that? Is that something that you thought about when it happened, or is this the
I
first
certainly didn't think about that when it happened, but I do enjoy the numbers. I make no secret of that. I do enjoy breaking records, so I'll add that to my list of broken records.
And this was a great night for you. Unfortunately, this week hasn't necessarily been as great for some of your teammates. Gunnar Nelson, it didn't go his way. Same with Artem Lobov. What did you think of their fights, their performances?
You know, I was absolutely heartbroken watching Gunnar fight there. He's so, there's so much to do with the game now. It grows, and there's a lot more to it. He experienced his first more extreme weight cut as well this time, because he's naturally grown into the welterweight division. So there's many factors in it, but that wasn't the true Gunnar Nelson out there. He's there, and he has every shot and every movement in the book. It's coming. It's coming for Gunnar. It was very, very sad to watch that. You have to give respect to Damian Maia. I feel the early exchanges were more of what Gunnar is capable of. Damian had that body lock. Gunny had the overhook and that little foot lock trip, and ended up in top position. There was it was a beautiful fight. Hats off to Damian. Gunnar will be back. He'll grow with it like he did previous. So the Artem fight, Artem has been with me from the beginning also. What he done in the Ultimate Fighter house after being with me in Las Vegas for the last camp, to go in back-to-back KOs. To watch that fight play out as well was very upsetting, because it wasn't truly a fight. If you beat a guy, beat a guy, but respect to Ryan as well. It was a great weekend for myself. It was a mixed up and down weekend for my team, but as my coach says, we win or we learn. So we will learn, we will head back to the gym, we will enjoy every sequence that happened over the course of this weekend, and learn and grow from that, and add to it, and implement these lessons in our game.
And just final question. Like you said, you want to keep your eye on the title fight between Dos Anjos and Cerrone. Who do you see coming out on top in that fight?
I don't know. I haven't even given it a second thought. It doesn't really matter. I'll keep my ear to the ground. I'll see what kind of numbers we're talking. It's not even a pay-per-view card, so the division is struggling big time. The division needs me. I don't need the division, so I'll play it by ear and see. But I am emotionless to who comes out victorious.
Conor, your people are so important to you. What was it like for you, at the introduction, right before the fight started, and hearing the support? And then also, don't you want to take a fight back to Ireland?
If they offer me a Croke Park, or if they offer me the football stadium, you're damn right I'm going to take it.
Can't you demand it?
Maybe I can these days. Maybe I can. But like I said, I'm going to sit back in the shadows for Christmas and plot. And then I'll come back in the new year with something for you all.
The importance of your people, though, tonight.
I am extremely proud of my nation and extremely grateful for all the people that come over here and travel for me. Like I said, the fans all week have been amazing. The whole world is seeing the Irish and the support they have for myself and each other. And that we are good people. We just like to have a good time. No trouble. We just want to have a good time. And it's great to see my nation on the map. So I am very proud of that.
Thanks again for everything.
Thank you. Okay, last question.
Conor, you mentioned the fans from Ireland several times. What do you think the strip's going to be like tonight, and how do you plan to celebrate?
The strip will be green, white, and orange, my friend. I have an after party now at the SLS, so I'm going to go have some steak with my family, a little bit of food, and then I'm going to celebrate with my fans who are at the after party. A little drink or two, and then just rest for the night, and then see what tomorrow brings. But it's been a great year for myself, the promotion. I'd like to congratulate and thank everyone involved, and I'll see you again in the new year. Thank you so much.
At MGM, and also the largest UFC event in Las Vegas. Gate was $10.1 million, $50,000 bonuses. Fight of the night, Weidman versus Rockhold. And performances of the night, Conor McGregor and Leonardo Santos. One transport tonight, Chris Weidman has been taken to a local hospital to be checked out. Who's got the first question?
Me.
Hi, Kev.
For the new champion. Luke, first of all, right in front of you. Just to your right in front. Congratulations. You were limping. What was going on that was causing you to limp there?
I kick with my left foot. Everyone knows that. I like the left kick. I kicked a couple elbows, and I think he checked me once or something. I don't know. It hurts. It hurts, and it is what it is.
Can you, first of all, comment what this means to you? Because you seem like you were kind of bitter from the moment you got in UFC. Like you felt like you weren't getting enough credit, that people weren't recognizing the ability you had. And you even said at the press conference the other day that you hadn't faced anybody as tough as Tim Kennedy and Jacare. And I wonder sort of where that attitude came from. And do you feel like, you proved any point tonight?
Yeah. I've been saying it for a long time. I believed I've been the best. I believe I've been the best in this sport for a long time. And people want to beat down my Strikeforce accomplishments, what I did, and I've taken my game to a new level. I said this last night, and I knew I'd come in there and I'd outperform them and get the job done, no matter what I faced going into this fight.
And Luke, if you could, at the end of the first round, he was on your back a lot there. Were you ever in trouble? And then when you got the choke on him, did you feel that was in? And did you feel there was any chance of getting a submission in the first round at all?
I knew I wasn't in trouble. I was just kind of feeling him out on the back. I wanted to see his positioning and his pressure and just get a little feel for the fight. I had him in the guillotine. Once I felt him on my back, I knew that he wasn't going to be able to advance and do anything. I really knew I had a big advantage there. I mean, it's funny, and just in positions like that, you already know. Yeah, the guillotine, I rolled him over. I almost had him pretty tight. That's one of my famous moves there on my guillotine. Chris is a tough dude. He worked his way out and hung in there. I couldn't believe he came back in the fourth round.
Two other quick questions for you. One, your gym has now had 3 champions in 2015, including 2 current champions. Mm-hmm. What impact has training with Daniel and the other great fighters up there, Kane and the other great fighters, what impact does that have on your performance? And then just number 2, being part of this card with everything that Conor did to help build it up in 2 title fights and kind of a historic night, what do you think that does for your career going forward, and what kind of boost do you think that gives you?
I'm not just saying that before, as I lead up to the fights. This is an iron sharpens iron world. And you can only get so good being a big fish in a small pond. I get the butterflies every day I go into training. I got to spar Kane and Cormier. And, if I'm off my game, I'm going to get beat up. And so I got to raise my level every day I come in the gym. And they got to do the same. And we've been pushing each other for so long. And that's the reason why, we are where we are. I think Chris will potentially better himself from this. And, you got to get around the best people you can. That's the name of the game. I'm so thankful for my whole team. I think we're the best team in the world. Kane's going to go get his belt back, and then we'll have all of them. Being a part of this card, doing it here at 194, unreal. I couldn't even imagine a bigger stage and a better opponent, and the fight just to play out the way it did is unreal. And I'm at a loss for words. This is still trying to take it all in.
Luke, you certainly had a great win tonight, but there were some moments of adversity for you. Were there ever any moments where you thought, this is just not going to be my night?
No, I was just exhausted. I've never been that exhausted before in my life. I've been on antibiotics the last 2 weeks straight. I stopped taking them today because I was just was fight day. My foot was starting to swell up a little bit, especially the weigh-ins. I didn't take them that day, and so I was on my foot, and I was so depleted and didn't want to get the antibiotics in my body, and my foot started swelling up and tightening up last night. I got cellulitis, basically. It's kind of like staph, I guess. But it takes over your whole foot, and it's just been draining my body, and it's been affecting me, and so I just had to fight through it and just make it happen. I knew I was going to go in there. I was going to try to execute, relatively early, so before that would affect me, and unfortunately, it didn't happen that quick. I just had to suck it up, man. It's tough. It's been draining my body, so I'm glad that I got the job done and go out there and perform better next time.
The one controversial moment was the stand-up from the guillotine. Obviously, it was on the opposite side of your body, so tough to finish there. What was going through your head? Did you think, okay, I understand why he's standing up, or were you frustrated at that moment?
No, I could have worked my way out. It just took a lot of energy, and I was so focused on relaxation and conserving energy because I knew that I was on antibiotics and had the infection and everything, and so I wasn't gonna do anything to exert myself in this fight. That's always my main focus. I don't fight the wrestling, flow with it, reverse it, and not, overexert myself because I knew that I would have nothing left later on. And so I was just holding position with the guillotine. I was trying to relax through it, and Chris wasn't advancing, so I was happy to get to stand up and just move around. So.
Perfect. Thanks, Luke. Just Dave, if I could quickly for you, certainly we would normally ask Dana, but obviously you're always in close communication with him. There seems to be a lot of talk. People wonder, Conor's the big story. What's next for Conor? Is Jose worthy of a rematch after a decade without being beaten? Is Frankie hanging in the wings? And then we hear rumors that Kavanaugh's saying that he can't get to 145 anymore. Did Dana give you any indication before he took off of what the likely scenario is next?
Yeah, he laid out two scenarios. One scenario is he stays at 45 and fights Frankie Edgar. The second scenario is potentially vacating that title and then moving up and getting the next shot following the Fox card next weekend between Cerrone and Dos Anjos. So those are the two scenarios. Dana doesn't like to make fights on the night of a fight, but that's how he laid it out for several of the TV partners backstage.
Did he make any mention of Croke Park?
He did not, but I imagine the Irish fans who are currently parading in the MGM lobby will.
Thank you. Just one last question for you, Dave. Any indication, preliminary indicators of how this thing is trending, where this thing ranks among the year's pay-per-views, maybe even among all-time pay-per-views?
It's very likely to be the biggest pay-per-view of 2015, and it could be the biggest pay-per-view of all time. The metrics are off the charts. It will surpass any records we've ever done commercially. The web traffic has just been enormous, and 194 has been a good week for us here.
Thank you. And if I just could quickly for Damian, 4 fights in a row. It seems like you keep getting better and better every time. 38 years old, maybe fighting the best of your career. What's the key to your success right now?
I think it's my team, My team bring me the better out of me every time. Since Eduardo took my career, my manager and head coach, when I dropped to the welterweight division, he's focused on, give the right strategy and work. Our training camp is very, very methodic. We don't do things just to do. We bring guys that we need. We do, every day I have the trainings that I gotta do every day and the intensity of which training. So that's make me better and better. And I'm feeling better, every day. I think I'm in my prime right now. And like I said, I wanna go for the title. I wanna have this chance. I truly believe, from the bottom of my heart that I can beat anyone. I had 9 fights in this division. I won 7 fights with dominant performance. I won every round of those fights. Even, many fights they said I was going to lose, like this one. And the fight that I lost was to Hori and was fight of the night. And I won, 1 round dominant. And the other fight that I lose, I don't think I lose against Jake Shields. Wasn't a good fight, but okay. That's it. And he was a great guy. He won Robbie Lawler and he won Dan Henderson, many guys. So, I think, I have the tools to be champion in this weight category.
Thank you. Just lastly for Uriah, big win for you tonight. Are you planning on being cage side for the next title fight? And do you have a preference? Would you rather have the old rival or would you rather have the old friend?
I would say the one that everybody wants to see is the classic story. It's like a mix between Rocky IV and Rocky V. My boy Stallone actually left a voice message, and I gave a little Rocky Balboa shout out there. And, I really, it doesn't matter too much to me. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time. And if fighting for the title is what my goal is. And I took myself off the market for a while, and it's kind of a weird thing when you've been at the top of any division you've been in your entire career to kind of like take a back seat because of friendship, and that's off the table now. I've been released from the friendship, so I'm gonna train my butt off, and I'm hoping I get that call, and I'll be ready. And Cruz is dope. TJ, I can't relate to the guy. I'm looking forward to a good fight.
Question for Luke Rockhold. Luke, over to your right. You and DC are obviously very close, very good friends. I was curious, what did he say to you? Obviously, he ran right in, gave you a hug. What kind of words did you guys exchange in there? I know you were kind of the same way when he won his title.
I have no fucking idea. There's not much to be said at that point. We've been through everything together. Living in the garage and at Bob Cook's house and playing video games, sitting on the floor. It's been a long road, living in the gym together, and it's not always so glamorous, but it's just amazing. It's can't put it into words what it feels like to from the bottom to the top. It's an amazing thing. A lot of gold now. The silver watch has got to go. I need some gold ones.
Obviously, for the most part, after the first round, it was a pretty dominant performance. You won the second. Obviously, you could have finished him in the third. Most people thought it could have been over at that moment. You finished him in the fourth. But do you believe after fighting Chris Weidman and seeing what he's done, do you feel like you will see him again at some point in the future?
I know he's a tough guy, and I think he's a cut above, technically and obviously toughness. But like I said, I wasn't joking when I said that before. I really believe that I'll have the advantage wherever this fight goes every time we get in there, and I think he'll come back. But I'll put him right back down. I got a lot of respect for him. But these guys aren't competing with me. I don't see anybody out there.
Question for Yoel Romero. Yoel, congrats on the victory, of course. Obviously, this seems like now you are the number one contender. So I'm curious, your thoughts on fighting for the title next, and what did you think of Luke's performance, assuming you saw it?
Muchas felicidades con ganar hoy.
Thank you.
¿Cuáles son tus pensamientos ahora que eres el número uno? ¿Y qué piensas en pelear contra Luke Rockhold?
Sorry. Bueno, primeramente que ha sido el trabajo de muchas personas.
First and foremost, it's been the job of many people.
Nada se logra solo.
Nothing is attained by yourself.
Mis compañeros de trabajo, mi team, mis entrenadores, mis training partners.
His training partners, his team, everyone involved.
Mi hija, mi esposa.
His wife, his daughter.
Toda esta gente han tenido que ver con este resultado.
All these people have to do with these results.
Y si estoy aquí es porque me lo he ganado.
And if I'm here, it's because I've won it.
Y estoy aquí para lo que se avecinen.
And I'm here for whatever may come.
Si es un título, pues a pelear por el título.
If it's for a title, I'm going to fight for a title.
Con los mismos deseos.
With the same wants.
Con los mismos focus.
With the same focus.
Y las mismas ganas.
And the same need.
And a question for Uriah. You stepped up in May and you fought Frankie Edgar at 145. Then you did the Ultimate Fighter, and I know that kind of came together almost short notice after everything happened with Josie the last time. You kind of put your career on hold then, too. Do you feel like, you kind of got back on track where you wanted to be? You've said numerous times you want to be champion again. Do you feel like you did kind of define that tonight with the win you have and obviously the situation you have with both Dominic and TJ?
I think so, but I don't make those decisions. Like I said, there's a couple fights that get me real excited. That was my 41st fight, which is crazy. I remember being here for some massive fights when I first started in 2003 and 2004, and just to see it all pan out is just crazy. Going up to 145s, being a little bit older, I was surprised at my weight. I made an effort to get bigger, and my weight stayed up. So it was rough. I had some injuries going in, so I wasn't able to run this whole camp. And so I had to get my weight down, basically 28 pounds over the last 10 weeks. So, but yeah, I felt good. You know, I feel like, you know, I'm right where I need to be. And like I said, I'm not trying to hang out here forever. I just want the fights that matter to me, and the fight that matter to the organization and the fans. And I don't think there's any secret what people want to see.
And one quick question for Tisha Torres. Congrats on the win, of course. Probably, you know, your strongest performance to date in the octagon, especially in that third round. But I'm curious, you know, you've continuously asked for top 10 opponents. And, you know, even Michelle Watterson, you know, she's right on the cusp of that. Then she drops out, you get a new opponent. You know, you have a win over Rose Namajunas. You have a win over Paige Van Zandt. Do you feel like, you know, now at this point you deserve, you know, to get one of those fights that you just can't seem to get?
Yeah, for sure. I really wanted to fight Michelle Watterson. You know, she's a former Invicta champion. I thought that was a great matchup. Unfortunately, she fell with injury. I thought Jocelyn would be another great matchup. I think she was, but unfortunately, she fell short, and I felt like it was one of my more dominant wins. And yeah, my next fight, I hope I do get a top 10 at least, at the very least, maybe a top 5 opponent, so I can just showcase some more of what I can do.
Question for Luke. To your left. Hey, congrats.
Thank you.
Any kind of little bit of a redemption that the fight seemed to, I don't want to say turn, because it's not like you were losing necessarily up to that point, but a key moment in the fight was him throwing a spinning wheel kick. Is there any sort of redemption in that for you, or are you so far removed from that it doesn't even cross your mind?
I'm blessed that happened. That changed me, it matured me, and it turned me into a different fighter. I embrace that. I love that. Of course, I want revenge, you know. But you know, I don't think that was the exact turning point. I mean, it definitely had a role. You know, I rocked him earlier in the fight too. You know, I felt good. I felt good. I felt like I had the upper hand. You know, even with obviously the setback I had. So, you know, I wish I would have had a little more energy to put it on him and I'll be better next time, no doubt.
And then just real quickly for you, Uriah, you said you, right here to your left. You said you were hoping that you get that call to face the winner in January. I mean, is that basically what you're expecting at this point? I mean, you know how the sport works. You know, you have a history with both those guys. Are you pretty confident in there that you have a title shot at 135?
I would be pretty confident, yeah. I mean, really, TJ's the champ. He's been on my team for the last 6 years. Cruz, we're 1-1. And I feel like I put more of a beating on him than he did me. He etched out some takedowns in the 5th round and had a little higher punch count, I guess. But then Rafael Sunsao is ranked above me. I have a win over him, and he has a win over TJ. And I think I heard Barrow's going up. I don't know if that's true or not. But, you know, so makes sense to me. And, you know, I'm ready for that.
Question back here for Max. Congratulations, 8th straight victory. Back here, 8th straight victory. You seemed disappointed with your performance in the cage. What was it about the fight that left you frustrated and not feeling like it was your best performance?
You know, I fight to finish, you know. At the end of the day, I fight to finish, and I want to make my case, you know, for that next title shot, you know. You got this guy going around, I got the belt that no one can handle his left hand. If you watch back to our fight, one guy fell down, and his name wasn't Max Holloway, so I'll leave it there.
You heard earlier Dave say that, you know, there's 2 scenarios for Conor, one of them being Frankie, but one of them being going up to 55 and vacating that belt. If that happens, I assume Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar for a vacant title sounds pretty good to you.
Look, Holloway versus McGregor 2, Croke Park, I think we saw that thing out, you know. You know, I actually give him, I'm the only guy that actually gave him a fight. And then, you know, if he moves up, Edgar versus Holloway, UFC Hawaii, you know, we can get one back for BJ Penn. Whatever happens, whatever floats his boat, whatever Dana White them want, I'm ready, you know. I'm here, I've been winning. Me and Conor lead the division in wins right now. So, you know, why not me and him? And if he leaves, then I'm glad with Frankie. Let's do that UFC Hawaii. They keep talking about UFC Hawaii. Let's make it happen. We got a stadium down there, 50,000 plus. Let's do it.
Question for Dave over here. See, over here, front row, to your left.
Oh, there you are.
Is the fight between Yoel and Rockhold official?
No.
Rockhold, what do you think about Yoel's performance? Did you get time to see it?
Yeah, I saw it. It was a good. I mean, it was. I love Yoel. You know, he put on it. He's a very slick cat. But he better work on his cardio, because I could have staph infection all the time, buddy. I'm gonna keep pushing this fight. So you know, he's a tough dude. We'll see what happens. I'm in for a big fight. I want a big fight. The middleweight division is in a weird place now. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the boss wants. Obviously, I want a big fight. I want a fight that will be great for the fans, and we'll see. That was I'll leave it at that.
And the same question for you. What do you think about Rockhold's performance?
¿Qué piensas de cómo peleó Rockhold?
Fantástico peleador.
Fantastic fighter.
Question for Luke Rockhold. Luke, were you surprised that the fight was not stopped at all at the end of the third round? It looked like it was very close to being finished at that point.
Yeah, I definitely thought the fight should have been stopped. I was actually thought it was stopped. I was in between whether the round was over or the fight was stopped. He was kind of waving it, so I was peeking over. I was hoping they would just stop the fight. I had nothing left in me, and then it was quite the adrenaline jump. Realizing he was coming back after me in the fourth, and the man obviously came with it. Yeah, I thought it should have been stopped. It's tough because I'm the same guy. I'm going to go out on my shield too. I want to be done, finished. But I mean, he took a lot of damage. It's not my job. It's not my call.
And one more for you, Luke. As far as what's next for you, obviously we've been talking about Yoel and his title prospects, but also you've got a loss to avenge over Vitor Belfort. Would that be a fight that would interest you, and do you think he would be deserving of a title shot at this point?
Vitor Belfort on a silver platter would be a beautiful thing. I would love it. I don't know if he's booked with Anderson. Or what's that? No? I don't know. No? Hey. Yoel's a tough dude. I'll let the boss choose.
Question for...
That fight will happen. Me and Yoel will have to fight. We know this is coming.
Vamos a tener que pelear. Sabemos que eso viene.
A question for Uriah Faber. Uriah, coming out on top in a war like you had with Frankie Saenz, is you talked about kind of taking yourself off the market for the title picture. Now you're back on. Does it help you personally to gear up for another run when you have a war with a guy like Saenz, as opposed to, if you had a win tonight, but it maybe otherwise wouldn't have been a particularly memorable occasion? Obviously, this one was.
Yeah, I mean, when I first got the assignment against Saenz, I looked him up, and you don't really know my background in wrestling. I went in, walked onto a team at UC Davis, and became a starter there. But Saenz was a super decorated high school wrestler. Only had 2 losses in his high school career. He was placed in the national tournament. I knew right off the bat that I was in for a tremendous war with a mentally strong, physically strong, technical guy. And honestly, I kept thinking in the third round, this felt exactly like morning sprints in college. I remember our coach would be like, one more thing, time mile, run your fastest mile and feel like your head's gonna pop and your lungs are blown out, and then he'd be like, all right, we're doing one more short practice, one more thing, another time mile, you have to get within 20 seconds your last time. And I was just feeling those lungs and my friggin' head pounding, and that's something that a lot of people aren't familiar with. It was good to get to that place, because you can only get to that place on accident. You don't like to put yourself in that position. You can try to emulate it, but it's very hard. So having a war like that with another tough opponent was very tough. And the other thing is, I'm so pumped about the PED testing. For those who know me, I've been straight and narrow my entire career, and I think, I would like to do the ice bucket lie detector PED challenge to anybody in the top 10 of the UFC. Let's do a lie detector test and see who's been cheating and who's not. And I think that's going to play in my favor.
And if I could finish with Dave Schaller. Dave, these last 3 days, don't see how they could have been more successful. 3 straight nights of fights, sellouts, title changes, very compelling fights. Will we see this type of a 3-night run scenario repeat itself in July around UFC 200?
Well, first and foremost, Richard, it's a great opportunity to thank our staff. I mean, this was just a Herculean effort by everyone involved. We had not only our Las Vegas teams, but our global teams that supported us, and then the fighters. And one of the crazy things is all 3 cards, everyone made weight, everyone made it on time. Yes, you'll see it again. I don't know when, but you know us. We always like to outdo ourselves.
And last one for you. We're used to, in the UFC, seeing compelling fights made pretty quickly. And in this particular case, I'm referencing Conor McGregor. There's a lot of possibilities for him, those 2 scenarios you just laid out. But he has told us in the media that he is on his way to signing a monster contract. Is there any chance that there could be a scenario where there would be protracted financial negotiations with Conor that could delay his return?
I don't think so. No.
Thanks.